Hello, and welcome to the show Writing in the Tiny House. I am on a mission to abolish the idea of the tormented artist by sharing what I know about writing, publishing, and just life in general, so that you can have the tools to produce the content that you have been eager to write. If you have the steps in place, you can produce a short story in as few as 3 months, or a novel in as few as 18 months. And hopefully, through the ideas in this podcast, you will have the wisdom to adjust that timeline if you need to. I am Devin Davis, the guy who lives and writes in a tiny house in northern Utah. Thank you for tuning in, and please enjoy today's episode of Writing in the Tiny House. A very busy first half of 2022. We have had a lot of specialized content, a lot of content that came out in series, in parts, and it has been a lot of fun work and a lot of fun to put all of that together. From here on out, the content of Writing in the Tiny House may take a little bit of a shift, and that is actually what this episode is for. I actually have a favor to ask all of my listeners who tune into this show every single week. I'm asking you to get onto specifically Instagram or Facebook and send me your thoughts on what I am about to propose, just because I want to make sure to provide good, valuable content to everybody who listens to this. And I want those episodes to be, I said valuable, but I also want to provide tools the best way that I can. A thing that I have found in my own journey through writing is that specifically drafting and editing and whatever, these whole projects are really big trials of patience and endurance. And a thing that gets me to focus and to ground my energies and to hone in on what I'm doing or to focus on what I'm dealing with or whatever are guided meditations. If you were paying close attention to the previous episode of Writing in the Tiny House, you may remember that I announced that I am taking a teaching certificate course on Ayurveda, which focuses on many different things, including meditation. And I'm wondering, and I am asking you, my beautiful listeners, would you benefit and would you be interested in using guided meditations that I can tailor specifically to the stages of the writing process? I don't know if it would be the entirety of an episode or if it would just be like the second half of an episode, but if I did an episode within which there would be found a guided meditation with me as the narrator, with background music, with the things, with the goal of bringing you into your space, of grounding yourself and dealing with maybe anxiety or with procrastination or whatever struggles you're having with your work in progress, and just kind of finding a way around that so that you can hone in and get to work. Is that something that you would want? And is it something that you would use if it's a thing that I did? So if you are a fan of guided meditations like I am, and you find that they benefit you and it's a thing that you would like and it's a thing that you would use, please get on to Instagram or Facebook and let me know what you think. If it's a thing you would like, if it's a thing you would use, if it's a thing that could look a little different and you have an idea to share. But on Facebook, I'm Devin Davis. On Instagram, I am at author Devin Davis. On Twitter, I'm at author Devin D, if that is a thing that you prefer. But let me know. I am diving into this Ayurveda course and I'm loving it. It completely vibes with how I work and with how I see the world, and it is really exciting for me to do. It is a requirement in this course to teach, and I am going to see if having podcast episodes can be a part of that teaching. And so in a way, I'm going to be preparing this content anyway, and I might as well share it with you. So let me know your thoughts. But otherwise, next week we are going to have another series of different things concerning the writing process. And so be sure to tune in next week on another episode of Writing in the Tiny House. And after that, potentially be prepared for some guided meditations, or at least some content that includes guided meditations. So thank you for tuning in, and be sure to tune in next week as well. And that is it for today. Just a reminder that Brigitte, installment 1 of Tales from Vlador, is available on Amazon as an ebook and on Audible and Apple Books as an audiobook. And I provide advance reader copies of these short stories as I release them to my patrons. So become a patron today by visiting patreon.com/writinginthetinyhouse to support both my writing and this podcast. And lastly, be sure to follow me on social media. My Instagram is @AuthorDevinDavis, and my Twitter handle is @AuthorDevinD. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and have fun writing. We will see you next time. Run by copy editor Chrissy Barton, Little Syllables Editing is a reliable resource for anyone looking to improve their manuscript. Chrissy does line edits, copy edits, and the final proofread for experienced writers and newbies alike. Go to littlesyllables.com and reach out to Chrissy today. A link is in the show notes.